The term language can be used to refer to a variety of concepts, things, such as the particular form of words and speech used by the people of a country, area or social group, or the method of human communication using spoken or written words. In other words, we can talk about a specific language, e.g. English, German, Swahili, etc., or about language as such. In linguistics, we are interested in both of reviews these fields, whereby general linguistics will tend range to concentrate on the latter topic and the individual language departments on their specific language, e.g. English linguistics. A further meaning of language is the style or types of words used by a person or group, which is a topic studied generally within sociolinguistics. Linguistics is the science of language. It is generally a descriptive discipline rather than a prescriptive one, which means that linguists do not lay down hard and fast rules about how to use a certain language, but rather concentrate on describing the rules which, especially native speakers, seem to have internalized. Apart from this, there are various different ways of doing linguistics. For example, we can concentrate on languages used at a certain point of time, e.g. in 1989, this is called synchronic linguistics. Alternatively, we can look at language from a diachronic point of view, which involves analyzing the development of a language during a certain period of time, e.g. during Middle English, or in the 1950s, etc. Linguistics as a science roommates can either be studied in a theoretical or a more applied way. For example, someone may be interested in finding out exactly how questions are formed in English equals theoretical. Once this is known, the knowledge could be applied, e.g. to language teaching, thereby, hopefully, enabling teachers and pupils to learn the language more effectively. It is the study of speech sounds. In articulatory phonetics, we investigate how speech sounds are produced using the fairly complex oral equipment we have. We start out with the water pushed up by the lungs through the trachea, or windpipe, to the larynx. Inside the larynx are your vocal folds, or vocal cords, which take two basic positions. 1. When the vocal folds are spread apart, the air from the lungs passes between them unimpeded. Sounds produced in this way are described as voiceless. 2. When the vocal folds are drawn together, the air from the lungs repeatedly pushes them apart as it passes through, creating a vibration effect. Sounds produced in this way are described as voiced. Place of articulation. These are sounds formed using both by upper and lower lips labia. The initial sounds in the words pat, bat and mat are all bilabials. These are sounds formed with the upper teeth and the lower lip. The initial sounds of the words fat and vat and the final sounds in the words labiodentals are safe and save. Reviews. These sounds are formed with the tongue tip behind the upper front teeth. The initial sound of thin and the final sound of the bath are both voiceless dentals. These are sounds formed with the front part of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, which is the rough bony ridge immediately behind and above the upper teeth. The initial sounds in top, dip, sit, zoo and nut are all alveolars. If you feel back behind the alveolar ridge, you should find a hard part in the roof of your mouth. This is called the hard palate or just the palate. Sounds produced with the tongue and the palate are called palatals. Even further back in the roof of the mouth beyond the hard palate, you will find a soft area, which is called the soft palate, or the velum. Sounds produced with the back of the tongue against the velum are called velars. There is one sound that is produced without the active use of the tongue and other parts of the mouth. It is the sound H. Roommates occurs at the beginning of haves and house and for most speakers, as the first sound in who and whose. This sound is usually described as a voiceless glottal. While the consonant sounds are mostly articulated via a closure or obstruction in the vocal tract, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of water. In addition to single vowel sounds, we regularly create sounds that consist of a combination of two vowel sounds, known as diphthongs. Two. Phonology. Essentially, phonology is the description of the systems and patterns of speech sounds in a language. Phonemes. Each one of these meaning distinguishing sounds in a language is described as a phoneme. 3. Morphology. There are two basic divisions in morphology. Lexical morphology, word formation, and inflectional morphology, grammar, conjugation, declination. Morphology is concerned with the study of word forms. A word is best defined in terms of internal stability. Is it further divisible? And external mobility. Can it be moved to a different position in a sentence? Closing parenthesis. A morpheme is the smallest unit of the which carries meaning. An allomorph is a non-distinctive realization of a morpheme. Morphology can further be divided into inflectional, concerned with the endings put on words, and derivational, involves the formation of new words. Affixation is the process of attaching an inflection or, more generally, a bound morpheme to a word. This can occur at the beginning or end and occasionally in the middle of a word form. Morphemes can be classified according to whether they are bound or free and furthermore lexical or grammatical. Word formation processes can be either productive or lexicalized non-productive. There are different types of word formation such as compounding, zero derivation, conversion, back formation and clipping. For any language, the distinction between native and foreign elements in the lexicon is important. In English, there are different affixes used here and stress also varies according to the historical source of words. The purpose of analyzing the internal structure of sentences is 1. To reveal the hierarchy and the ordering of elements. 2. To explain how surface ambiguities come about. 3. To demonstrate the relatedness of certain sentences. Sentence structure is normally displayed by means of a tree diagram of the which is intended to display the internal structure in a manner the which is visually comprehensible. Such a diagram is not assumed to correspond to any encoding of language in the brain. The term generation is used in formal linguistics to describe exhaustively the structure of sentences. Whether it also refers to the manner in the which speakers actually produce sentences, from the moment of having an idea to saying a sentence, is a very different question, and most linguists do not make any such claim. Universal grammar represents an attempt to specify what structural elements are present in all languages, i.e., what is their common grammatical core, and to derive means for describing reviews these adequately. Language would appear to be organized modularly. Thus, spake syntax is basically independent of phonology. For instance, though there is an interface between reviews these two levels of language, the purpose of analyzing the internal structure of sentences is 1. To reveal the hierarchy in the ordering of elements. 2. To explain how surface ambiguities come about. 3. To demonstrate the relatedness of certain sentences. Students should be aware of how the syntax is acquired by young children. Acquisition of syntax, greatly simplified. Lexicology. Lexicology is a part of linguistics. It studies words, reviews their nature and meaning, words backquote elements, relations between words, word groups and the whole lexicon. The term first appeared in the 1820s and it is composed of two Greek morphemes, lexis, the which means word, phrase, and logos, the which denotes learning, a department of knowledge. The literal meaning of the term lexicology is the science of the word. General and special lexicology. General lexicology is concerned with the study of vocabulary irrespective of the specific features of any particular language. Special lexicology is the lexicology of a particular language, Azerbaijani, English, Russian, German, French, etc. It is based on the general principles of lexicology and laid down by general lexicology of vocabulary. Lexical decomposition. Reviews these is the first of lexical decomposition. Lexical decomposition is a means of characterizing the detailed lexical features of a word. Example, taking the words kitten and fawn. We can see some commonality in them. Individually we can assign each of them the following features. Kitten, young, four-legged, animate, living. Fawn, young, four-legged, animate, living. Puppy, young, four-legged, animate, living. If we add chicken or baby to his set of the decomposition will be chicken, young, two-legged, animate, living. Baby, young, two-legged, human, living. Collocation. One final aspect of our knowledge of words has nothing to do with any of the factors considered so far. We know the which words growing niche to occur with other words. If you ask 1,000 people what they think of when you say hammer, more than half will say nail. If you say table, they'll mostly say chair. Elicits bread and butter. Thread and needle elicits salt, elicits pepper. One way we seem to organize our knowledge of words is simply on the basis of collocation, or frequently occurring together. For examples: black box, black coffee, white skin. Denotation and connotation. Denotation refers to the strict definition of a word, the class of things denoted by the word. It is the referential or dictionary meaning of a lexical item. For example, the lexeme mother has its dictionary definition as female parent. Connotation, on the other hand, goes into the extralinguistic associations and overtones of meaning of words. Reviews these meanings would not be explicitly stat d in the dictionary. Thus, spake for mother would entail the connotative meaning love, comfort, solace, strength. Semantics. Semantic word comes from the Greek sema, the which means sign or symbol, sign. Semantics was first used by a French philologist Michel Briel, named in 1883. The word semantics was agreed as the term is used for the field of linguistics that studies of linguistic science with the things that are being marked. So semantics is the study of the meaning of words, phrases and sentences. Semantic relationships between words. Modern studies of semantics are interested in meaning primarily in terms of word and sentence relationships. Let's examine some semantic relationships between words. Homophony. When two words have the same pronunciation, but are written differently and mean different things, such as bear and bear. Polysemy. When a single word has multiple meanings. For example, the verb bear can mean tolerate but also bring, he bore gifts, or have they bear a resemblance certain. Synonymy. When two words are close in meaning, such as the synonyms insinuate and suggest. Although they are similar, they are not identical. Antonymy. When two words have opposite meanings, such as the unmarked pair of antonyms happy and sad or the marked pair of antonyms unhappy and happy. There are two types of antonyms. Gradable antonyms. These are words with various degrees, such as happy and sad. Not happy is not the same as sad. Non-gradable antonyms. These are words without degrees, it's either one way or the other, such as on and off. Your computer is either one or the other, it is not on indicates it is off. Reversives. Sometimes, with a pair of antonyms x and y, not x does not imply y. For example, I did not close the windows does not imply I opened the windows. These are reversives. Converse. If A happened before B, then B must have happened after A. If A is B's husband, then B is A's wife, assuming they are not a gay couple. This relationship is called converse. Hyponymy. When one word indicates a category of things that is a subset of the category of things indicated resources by another word. For example, the child is a hyponym of human. The which is a superordinate of child. Child and adult are called co-hyponyms. Prototype. Sometimes, a certain hyponym is more representative of the superordinate than most. For example, when you hear the word fish, you probably do not think about weird fish like seahorses or swordfish. You are more likely to think of, say, salmon, the which is said to be the prototype of the hyponymy. Metonymy. When a word is used in place of another related word. For example, you can say he found solace in the bottle if you want to express the idea that he drank alcohol to comfort himself. Using bottle instead of alcohol is metonymy. Synecdoche. Synecdoche is a type of metonymy when you're substituting a word for a part of it, e.g. farmhand she. Metaphor. When a word is replaced with another because of similar attributes. For example, the Chinese word for communication, gutong, originally meant to merge two river channels into one by dredging. Transferred epithet. It is when a word, usually an adjective, describes another word, but actually describes a third concept. For example, happy in a happy morning note describes the morning, but the mood of the speaker during the morning. Collocation. When two words go well with each other, such as deliver in speech, formulate in policy, and interesting in proposition. These are found by looking at statistics in a corpus, or a collection of language in use. Sociolinguistics is the study of variation in speaker groups and variation in language use. Social factors, variables, and their influence on language use are at the core of sociolinguistic research. When connecting the study of sociolinguistics to that of language change An influence of social factors on language's structures may also be traced. Sociolinguistics accounts for the influence of reviews these factors, such as age, social class or sex, on the way we speak or write, on the linguistic structures we use, and on how individuals or groups deviate from what may be called the standard use of language. Sociolinguistics thus accepts and evaluates the fact that language is part of the speaker's identities and how to's identity and in-group language aspects influence, just as specific contexts do.